things are certainly starting to change. And here's the other evidence, as he said, in front of you here at Kyalami. He played the stem just before we get going with this international event. Right, we've got this whole international field standing by here and some of the top drivers. Let's just learn a little bit of the background of these drivers before this event does start.
Roland Ash, born on the 12th of October 1950 in Eltingen. He's married to Gretel. They have 3 children, Rebecca, Simone and Sebastian. Roland is no stranger to South Africa after competing on a number of occasions in the Porsche Turbo Cup at Kyalami. He first started racing in 1976 and has earned a reputation as one of the top saloon car drivers in the world. In 1988, he won every round of the German Porsche Turbo Cup Series and won the German Touring Car Championship in 1985, 86 and 1988. A disappointing season saw him finish 21st in the 1990 series, but he took his career points to 552. Roland has driven for BMW, Ford and Mercedes-Benz in the German Touring Car Series. His hobbies are motorsport, you can guess it, and model aeroplanes. Jochen Mass, born on the 30th of September 1946. He's a vastly experienced driver in single-seaters, sports cars and saloons. From 1973 to 1982, Jochen raced in Formula One for Surtees, March, McLaren, ATS and Arrows, and won the Spanish Grand Prix at Jarama in 1975. Mass has also had a glittering career in sports cars and won the 1989 Le Mans 24-hour for Mercedes-Benz. This year he's again been signed to spearhead the Mercedes-Benz Challenge in the 1991 World Sports Car Championship. His hobbies include sailing. Karl Wentlinger was born in Vienna on the 20th of December 1968. A protege of Gerhard Berger, Wentlinger is a young driver who appears to be going places. He started out in Formula Ford in 1987 and in 1989 won the German Formula 3 Championship. Wentlinger drove for Mercedes-Benz in the World Sports Car Series this season, scoring 1 victory, and he's been signed up by the team for the 1991 season. Wentlinger is widely tipped to follow Berger into Formula One. Tennis, squash and fitness are his hobbies.
Well, that's some of the talent that we have in front of us here today at Kyalami. Our commentary team, we've got Hendrik Verwoerd, we've got Louis Carbus, and from Germany with the German touring cars, Gustav Bussing. And we're going to hear from him just a little bit later when we run down through the grid. Well, the cars are down on the grid, and as always, Graham Cooper's down there with one of the favourites for this race, Klaus Ludwig.
Thank you very much there, Roger. Klaus Ludwig, a man that has competed at Kyalami many, many times. The first time we've seen you in the Group A Mercedes-Benz. You're on pole position. Do you believe that Roland Ash, who's next to you in position number 2, is going to be able to give you a hard time during the race?
I hope we're going to have a nice race. We'll see. My car is fantastic, I tell you. I think I have a good chance.
Well, let's hope that the best man wins and have a good day's racing in South Africa.
Thank you.
Graham Cooper is gewoonlik daaronder op die wegspringrooster. Goeiedag ook van my kant af. Dis hoendervleisdag hier vandag met die internasionale geur wat ons het van hierdie internasionale besoekers aan Suid-Afrika, en dit was heerlik om sowel die Duitse as die Suid-Afrikaanse volksliedere te hoor speel. En binne enkele oomblikke gaan hierdie motors begin wegtrek op hulle opwarmingsronde en gaan hulle gereed maak om hierdie eerste wedren van 2 oor 25 rondes elkeen aan te pak. En wat gaan gebeur? Gaan dit Roland Ash wees wat in die tweede wegspringposisie is? Gaan dit Klaus Ludwig wees? Of gaan dit Suid-Afrika se eie superster Sarel van der Merwe wees? Hy is 5de op die wegspringrooster. En soos wat ons vir Sarel ken, sal hy natuurlik so hard as moontlik veg om daardie posisie van hom te verbeter. Die ander Suid-Afrikaners natuurlik ook hier in die wedren vandag. Ons het vir Chris Aberdeen wat in die tweede wedren gaan jaag saam met Jorg van Ommen. Jorg van Ommen op die oomblik in die 7de wegspringposisie. Daar is ook Dion Jaber in posisie nommer 9 wat in die BMW M3 jaag. Ons het vir Tony Viana wat net agter hom is in posisie nommer 11. En hy jaag in 'n soortgelyke BMW M3 motor. Daar is ook nog ander Suid-Afrikaners soos Pieter Lans en Mark de Nabriga wat ook vandag hier in aksie gaan wees. Maar Louis Karpas, hoe voel jy oor vandag se wedren?
Well, I think it's going to be an absolutely amazing day's racing, and proof of that is by the huge crowd that has assembled here at Kyalami, and they are still streaming in through the gates. They really are. Traffic backed up all the way to the highway here in outside Kyalami, and people really streaming in to this wonderful race circuit. With us from Germany, Gustav Bussing. Gustav, what do you think of today's race, the chances of the main contenders?
It's a very mixed chance for BMW cars and Mercedes cars, both factory-supported teams from AMG, for example, from Saxpeed, for example, who were for some time in Formula One as well, and from Linda cars, and even factory-supported cars from Opel here. But I think the main chances are with the Mercedes and the BMW cars, and for sure Roland Asch, who is on pole, must be a contender for the win, and for sure Klaus Ludwig. And I think Alfred Heger is to watch, and Armin Hane.
Do you think that the battle between Roland Asch and Klaus Ludwig is actually going to develop today?
Yes, I think there will be a big battle in the race. There is a question mark about Roland Asch because in the warm-up he broke his gearbox, and they had to change the gearbox within 20 minutes before the start of this race. So there is a question mark about that car. But I think we will see at first the battle between Roland and Klaus Ludwig.
And obviously the big battle to see if that BMW M3 of Armin Hane can come in between them.
I think so, they will come in between. There is another point I think we should look for, and that is a tire question. There's a little bit concern about tire wear in all the teams, and especially in the Pirelli camp, they are not quite sure about whether their tires will last to the end of this first heat. Therefore, you have to know that the number of tires is limited. They have 6 tires for qualifying and the first race. So all the guys who ran a lot of laps yesterday may be in trouble today.
There's car number 3, Roland Asch, there from the back of the field. 25 German touring cars lined up to race around this circuit. It'll be 25 laps, and that's the first heat of 100 kilometers, and later this afternoon the second heat of 100 kilometers. The big hope, of course, as far as South Africa is concerned, in 5th position on the grid is Sarel van der Merwe in that Mercedes 190E.
He certainly is, and I was speaking to Sorrel just now down in the pits before they got into the motor cars. He is raring to go, he is pumped up, and he certainly means to do well. He said that the qualifying tyres on his car, he didn't get a clear run, but despite that, he's on 5th position on the grid. So I think we can expect big things from car number 2, Sarel van der Merwe, in the Kershaw Mercedes 190. It's an AMG Mercedes, absolute magnificent machine. There's the grid now. Roland Asch, we know him from Porsche Turbo Cup fame here. He won the Porsche Turbo Cup many times. Klaus Ludwig alongside him, that's BMW's 1 and 2. That's the Camel Mercedes in the front, Ludwig in the Kershaw Mercedes alongside him. And then we go down there to Armin Hane, to Kritzpointner, and then to Sarel van der Merwe and Alfred Heger. Alfred Heger, as Gustav said, there must be one of the strong contenders in this race. A little further back, we've got another driver who's been out here, Jorg van Ommen. He's going to be sharing the Minolta Mercedes with Chris Aberdeen. We've got Dieter Quester there in an M3 BMW. As far as the sound goes, everybody says they are far too quiet. The nicest sounding are the Opel Amigas. You can just see one going around there now, that ATS, that with the yellow and black stripes across the cars. There's a Ford Mustang in here, magnificent sounding car, but it's just too quiet. But it really gets along, does the Ford Mustang, the Ruch Mustang. There's the Opels going around now, and the noisiest and certainly some of the fastest cars are those BMW entries. 4-cylinder, 2.5 litre, very high-tech 16-valve motors. They pump out a lot of horsepower, and they rev to something like 9,300 RPM. 6 South Africans in the field. We've got 2 Swiss, we've got 2 Austrians, we've got 19 Germans. There's 25 cars in the lineup. It's a magnificent sight. The crowds have been streaming in here from early this morning. The circuit was packed at 7 o'clock this morning as they come down that frightening mine shaft. These cars warming up their tyres, as you've seen the Grand Prix cars doing, so that when they get down to the serious business of racing, they're going to have them good and sticky when they go into Yellow Pages corner on the first lap. This is the first heat. It's 25 laps, 100 kilometers of this Yellow Pages 200. The 200, of course, is a 200-kilometer race. And there's Continental Tires, of course, German connections there as well. Continental Tire Corner. You come through Brilliant Science Corner. That's the one, a lovely position there. They come straight at us. They aim those cars at us before they go down the fastest point on the circuit. The pace car's out. It's a BMW out there in the front. We've had a display of all the drivers in Mercedes and BMWs, AMG Mercedes, and all these BMWs today. It's been a grand scene as they go into this new corner at Total. Very fast, frightening. They go through here at about 220 plus as they start lining up. And just getting the cars into your head now, the right-hand side of your screen is Klaus Ludwig The black Mercedes, the camel Mercedes, is yellow on the left-hand side. Behind him he's got Amin Khan. Then he's got Kritzpointner. He's alongside him. Kritzpointner is in the Mercedes, the BMW. That's the BMW colours you see there. His car number 15, and that's Hana as they get ready for the off. And they're starting to wind up all this horsepower as they come towards us. Pace cars off. The race is on. 25 laps of the yellow pages. 200 has started, and Ludwig's in the front on the inside. Roland Ash is getting pushed to the outside. Kritzpointner starting to push his way in there. There's Peter Lance coming through. There's a Sabre at BMW there as well. There's Van Ommen, and it's Mark de Nobreg is going to be sharing that one. As we go through, it's Kritzpointner's got into second position. And there's Tony Vion and Dion Jaber on the Winfield BMWs. They come streaming through Yellow Pages corner. We're into the top sport S's and he's losing it. Amin Khan has lost it. There he is. He's gone off to the side of the road. And he's going to have great difficulty getting back into this pack. He'll have to wait until they've all gone past him. So the top sport S's has already claimed its first victim as they go up the Winfield Hill into West Bank. Very late braking, these cars. There's the two Opel Amigas, very quick in a fast line. They haven't got the aerodynamics to make them grip the road as some of these other cars have. And there's Roland Ash coming down the road. Kritzpointner seems to have gone to second position. It's Ludwig in the front. Is it Ludwig in the front? We'll pick that up in a moment. As they come down the hill, they're already starting to trail smoke as they come down to IGI. And we'll see them coming. Here's this accident again as they came in. There's Klaus Ludwig in the front as he comes down to the front there and going through Harney, taking too tight a line and just getting past him. There's Roland Ash. Luckily, those aerodynamics, he's got ground effects under that motor car, are going to be destroyed as Harney goes off to the side of the road. Well, as we say, the first victim of the top sport S's, and as they come towards us on the end of the first lap, it's Ludwig. It's Kritzpointner in the Kirchner car. It's Roland Ash. And then the second, number 2, Sarel van der Merwe. Sarel's lying in fourth position. Sarel there's on the inside. There's Sarel van der Merwe going through car number 2. On his tail, he's got Alfred Heger in the BMW, in the Linde BMW. They're starting to use these curves. Not good for the aerodynamics of the car. But van der Merwe, the South African, is up to fourth, and he's hauling.
En Sarel van der Merwe, soos Roger gesê het, in die vierde posisie, dis Ludwig Kritzpointner, ons ken hom as Fritz K. Roland Ash in die derde plek, van der Merwe vierde, Alfred Heger in die vijfde plek, Van Ommen in die zesde plek, Dieter Quester in die zevende plek en Dion Jaber van Zuid-Afrika in die achtste plek. 2 Suid-Afrikaners onder die eerste 10. Dit is baie goeie vertoning daar. Ons het 4 Mercedes in die eerste posisies en dan 'n BMW van Heger, dan nog 'n Mercedes en dan is er nog 2 BMW M3's. Hierdie motors wat nou besig is om sake al warmer met mekaar uit te spook hierso. Dis 25 rondes, 100 km, baie dinge kan nog gebeur. Die bande gaan 'n baie groot rol speel in hierdie wedren. Hulle gebruik redelike nou bande, smal bande en dit beïnvloed natuurlik die hantering van hierdie motors aansienlik. Dit is 'n wedren wat waar in taktiek baie gaan speel. Na die eerste ronde is dit die volgorde: Ludwig Kritzpointner, Ash van der Merwe, Heger en Van Ommen. En dit is die volgorde nog steeds aan die einde van hierdie tweede ronde. Het lyk of Ludwig daardie gaping oopmaak met Kritzpointner wat besluit het dat hy nader gaan beweeg. Van der Merwe nog steeds in die vierde plek, maar hy het Alfred Heger in motor nommer 11 baie kort op sy hakke. En Heger probeer om daardie lyn vir budget draai aan die buitekant reg te kry, maar Van der Merwe maak die deur vir hom toe. Taktiek gaan 'n belangrike rol speel in hierdie wedren. Dis 25 baie lang rondes. Onthou, hier is nie verskillende klasse nie. Hierdie motors is almal in dieselfde klas volgens die reëls van die Duitse sedanmotorkampioenskap. Word motors met gewig gepenaliseer om hulle soveel as moontlik gelykmatig te kry sodat hulle almal so kompeterend as moontlik is. Deur die topsport is motor nommer 2, dis Sarel van der Merwe, Mercedes-Benz 190 2,516 klip engine Evolution 2 model. Soos wat hy bekend staan, deur Wesbankdraai van der Merwe wat besig om sy planne te maak. Hy het vir Roland Ash in sy versiere, want hy en Ash het natuurlik 'n appeltjie te speel hier op Kyalami. Nadat hulle die laaste keer te mekaar te staan gekom het in die Porsche Turbo Beker wedren, die internasionale wêreldkampioenskapswedren waarin hulle te mekaar te staan gekom het en waarin Ash toe die boottoon gevoer het. Nummer 11 is Alfred Heger. Hy is kort op die hakke van Sarel van der Merwe, deur Continental draai en oor die Brilliant Science bokkie af in die rigting van die vinnigste deel, die total draai hier op Kyalami. Nummer 77 is Fritz Kritzpointner, hy is in die tweede posisie. Ons het gedink die tonge gaan 'n bietjie knoop met hierdie name vandag. Fritz K, soos hy bekend staan. As Ludwig Kritzpointner, Ash van der Merwe, kort op mekaar se hakke, gaan hulle daar deur Nashua draai. Heger wat Sarel van der Merwe probeer uitoorlê deur die draai. Jorg van Aller nog steeds in die 5de plek, die 6de plek met Quester 7de en Dion Jaber van Suid-Afrika baie stewige 8ste posisie.
So the South Africans very, very, very well. Two of them already up in the top 10 with Sarah van der Merwe. Battle royal going on at the moment. Alfred Hager is right up against him. There they come round out of yellow pages and up towards the top sport S. As you can see that BMW right up the exhaust pipe of Sarah van der Merwe in that Mercedes. Watch as they come round you. They'll go up towards West Bank, and that could be very, very interesting when they get up into West Bank. That is where the action is going to be. We watch them as they go all the way up that hill. Here they come. That's the leader, Ludwig. Right behind Ludwig is Fritz K, then Roland Ash. There's Sarah van der Merwe in car number 2, doing everything he can to keep that position in position number 4. Here they come down the mine shaft, really, really flying now. And these cars going around the circuit at about 1 minute 31, 1 minute 32. And in fact, the fastest time is 1 minute 30.10. So here they come. That's Van der Merwe locking up the brakes there a touch. And he really, really is being pushed very, very hard by that BMW. It's 4 Mercedes and then the BMW. And the BMW really is trying everything he can to get past Van der Merwe. And I wouldn't be surprised if he does get past Van der Merwe. He'll really, really be going. There's the new lap record for touring cars. Roland Ash in the Campbell Mercedes in a time of 1 minute 30.66 seconds at an average speed of over 150 kilometers an hour. There's Ash. Here comes Sarah van der Merwe, closely followed by Alfred Hager. Hager trying everything he can. Van der Merwe goes wide. Down they come past the start-finish line to complete yet another lap. And Van der Merwe's track experience, racing so many times here at Kyalami, is what is keeping him ahead. But a tremendous battle going on further down the field as well. Franz Engstler is now moving up. Dieter Quester is now in 7th place. Jorg van Olmen is in 6th position. That's the car that Chris Aberdeen will race in the second heat. Here they come. That's car number 16 going round at the moment. That's Jorg van Olmen and Dieter Quester. Dieter Quester, incidentally, had his first race in 1966 for BMW. Today is his 350th race for BMW. 4 times European saloon car champion, and at the age of 51 still very, very much in it. He's in that red car, and they really, really are going at the moment. That's Dieter Quester, Jorg van Olmen and Franz Engstler in that battle as well. Quester and Engstler. And right behind them is Dion Jaber. Dion Jaber coming up in the Winfield BMW. Here they come. Let's see if the South African get in amongst that scrap. That's Dieter Quester in car number 18, in car number 21, Franz Engstler, and 25 is in the pits. That looks like the Toyota.
Philip Muller.
It's Philip Muller in the pits. He's obviously got a problem. Round they go again. Here comes Klaus Ludwig, the leader. Right behind him is Fritz Kritzpointner. Then it's Roland Ash, then Sarah van der Merwe. And they really, really are battling. That's Jorg van Olmen in car number 16. 5 laps gone, 20 remain.
Well, this has been exciting to start it off. It's magnificent to see these 4 Mercedes out front there. Unfortunately, with Hana, he had that spin in the first lap going through the top sport S's, and that set back his chances. He's lying way down the pack at the moment, but the South African's starting to do well. That is, in fact, Philip Muller in the Toyota Supra, and he's getting back into the race. We've got a puncture there with Hana, so he's going to have problems. He won't get back into this hunt. But it's early days yet. As far as it goes, Muller had a puncture and changed it in the Supra. That's going to set back his chances a wee bit, as they're only allowed to use 6 tyres for practice and for the 225 lap races. It's Ludwig now, and getting closer to him is Kritzpointner. But it's early days. It's been run at record-breaking speed, as you've seen already. We've got a lap record a bit early there. Gustav, the tyres are going to take a beating in this race.
I think the tyres will come into the game round about at lap 20 or something like that. That's what the drivers say. Then it gets critical with the tyres, and gets critical with the temperature of the track. Yesterday they measured 41 degrees, and I suppose it's not quite less today.
I see them slipping and sliding already, and this is early days in this race.
Exactly.
Right there is Sarah van der Merwe, the Springbok 11-time South African rally champion. He's driven Porsche 962s. He's getting away from Alfred Hagen. The BMW is just behind him, but closing up there's Roland Ash. It's early days yet, with there's 19 laps to go. Van der Merwe is 4th. Then it's Alfred Hager, Jorg van Olmen in the Minolta Mercedes. He's going to be sharing that with Chris Aberdeen. Aberdeen will be driving in the second race. So Kritzpointner is staying right in there with him. He's not letting him get away. He's a youngster, 23 years old. Ludwig, of course, a lot of experience. Was 5th in the German Touring Car Championship this year. He's 41. He's driven in World Sports Car Racing, and Sarel van der Merwe rates him in his younger days, one of the fastest drivers ever sit behind a racing wheel. Up to West Bank corner. Magnificent shot of a packed Kyalami. We've got the crowd still streaming in here. The crowds are upward of 50 and 60,000 already, and they've been parked in Kyalami since early this morning. 7 o'clock this morning they were here. Roland Ash is now getting his head down in the yellow camel car. It's the Kershaw Mercedes. Ludwig's got to look in his mirror. They do a heavy bit of braking as they go through Continental Tire Corner. Then it's powering it on. These are very trick motor cars. The news is that they spend more on these motor cars than a lot of companies spend on Formula One racing. So this is the German touring cars, where the factories, the German factories like Mercedes, like BMW, Opel and Audi, unfortunately not here today, spend huge money developing these motor cars and spend big money also getting the top drivers to race them. It's the biggest, one of the biggest crowd draws in Europe, well covered television, and Ash is getting a little bit ragged around the edges. That's not going to help his tyres, and he's lost a lot of ground, and Van der Merwe's got him in his sights. Sarel van der Merwe's lining him up just ahead of him. You can see the aerodynamics in these Evolution cars, and that is the trickiest car of all, that camel car of Roland Ash. Round effects for the technical people. It's a 2.5 litre Cosworth developed Mercedes engine, 2.5 litre 16 valve motor. They sound absolutely magnificent. It's the Kershaw car of Sarel van der Merwe. He's got Ash in his sights, and do you remember those fights they used to have before? Roland Ash versus Sarel van der Merwe, and the score was not quite even, went in Sarel's favour in the Porsche Turbo Cup. And of course Chris Aberdeen beat the whole lot of them when they had the international race here a year or two ago. It's Roland Ash now battling a little bit with his tyres. Those are very trick Dunlop tyres they've got on those cars. They've got Kevlar tyres. Number 18 coming past is Dieter Questa. He's the man who's had his 350th race in Europe. As they go down, he's coasting. So Questa is going to be going for the pits, and I think, as Gustav said, tyres are going to play the big part. Van der Merwe saving that motor car. I think it would please him more than to beat Roland Ash and that Camel Mercedes ahead of him. Isn't it magnificent to see Mercedes racing with Kyalami? And let's hope that these motor cars stay in this country. We see a lot more of them in the future.
Fritz Kritzpointner, Fritz K, wat op die oomblik in die tweede posisie is eintlik 'n man wat baie gevaarlik is dusver in die Ford kampioenskappe in Europa. 23 jarige Duitser. Hy het tweede geëindig in die 1989 Europese Formule Ford kampioenskap. En hy het ook sewende gekom in die 1989 verlede jaar die Formule Ford fees op Brands Hatch. Dit is waar ons vandag op die jaar Suid-Afrikaners in aksie gesien het. Hou vir die Suid-Afrikaners dop in hierdie wedren. Van der Merwe natuurlijk nog steeds in die 4de posisie. Met Alfred Heger, eerste van die BMW M3 skort op sy hakke. Karel Wendinger het intussen die 8de posisie van Dion Jaber af weggeneem. En kort op Dion Jaber die 9de posisie. Sy hakke is dit die 2 Opel Omegas, dis die van Volker Streitzek en Markus Istreich. Albei van hulle Opel Omega 3 liter 24 klip motors wat hier in aksie is. 9de en 10de posisie. Kyk weer, daar is 'n wit vlag. Dit beteken as een van die motors wat stadig beweeg. Nummer 16 is Jörg van Kommen. Dit is Chris Aberdeen se spanmaat. Aberdeen gaan in die tweede uitdaging jaag, of in die tweede wedren net nou later vanmiddag, so teen 2:45 se kant wanneer hulle aan die beurt kom. En daar is een van die motors groot probleme lyk dit vir my. Dit is een van die BMW M3's. Ek kan vasstel wat hier dit is. Is dit 'n Quester? Is dit 'n Quester? Wat lyk is my daar 'n probleem het, en ons kan op iemand die vaststellen. Miskien kan ons net 'n vir Grand Cooper vra om as hy nou presies wat dit verkeerd is. Dit is tussen steeds hierdie geweldige stryd om die 5de posisie. Dit is tussen Van Ommen en Frans Engsler. Van Ommen in motor nummer 16 en hy het teruggesak, lyk dit vir my. Alfred Heger, nee, dit is Alfred Heger wat nog steeds in die 5de plek is. Hy is net voor Sarel van der Merwe, het by Van Ommen gekom. Van der Merwe wat net 'n baie taktiese wedren bestuur in hierdie stadium. Dit lyk nie of hy enige indruk kan maak op Ash en Kritzpointner daar voor hom nie. En Klaus Ludwig wat ook net sorg dat die ander renjaars kort op sy hakke bly. En hy het hulle die geleentheid gegee om by te kom. Volgorde dus op die oomblik aan die einde van die 9de ronde is Ludwig met Kritzpointner kort op sy hakke in die tweede posisie, Roland Asch in die derde plek, Van der Merwe in die vierde posisie, Alfred Heger, eerste van die BMW M3's in die vijfde posisie. En dan is dit Jörg van Ommen in die 6de posisie. Steeds 'n geweldige stryd daar so as hulle opgaan in die rigting van Westbank draai tussen Van Ommen en Alfred Heger. Karel Wendinger is ook daarin. 16 het tussen by Heger verbygekom. twee manne wat mekaar deeglik opkyk hier op Kyalami. Frans Enksler op die oomblik dan in die 8ste posisie met Suid-Afrika se Dion Jaber in die 9de plek. Nummer 18 wat in die kuipe is die motor van Dieter Quester, soos ons net gesê, waarskynlik 'n bandeprobleem.
And I think it's tire problems we already starting to experience. Gustav, your prophecy is coming right.
Yeah, but I think there's another problem, because I just saw on the picture Dieter Quester going out of the car and putting his helmet on the roof of the car, so I think it's finished.
So a sad day for Dieter Quester on his 350th appearance for a BMW, and it's been a bit of barging, I would say. Somebody's decided to give him a kiss on the back there. There goes car number 2. That is Sarel van der Merwe off the circuit. Sarel van der Merwe has gone off. He's obviously had a problem, lost it coming round the corner, and that looks like Sarel van der Merwe is going to have a long, long chase. A very, very long chase for Sarel van der Merwe at total curves. Straight into the pits goes Sarel van der Merwe. Straight into the pits goes the South African. So the top South African, Sarel van der Merwe, is out of the race into the pits. He lost it. Something must have gone wrong, but back on the circuit. Here they come. That is car number 11, Alfred Hager. And Hager seems to be losing ground to Van Oomen. Van Oomen ahead of him, and Van Oomen seems to be pulling away. There he is, coming round the Top Sport S's out. There goes Sarel van der Merwe into the pits. And there obviously is a problem. Perhaps they're going to change a tyre or two. Maybe he had a puncture coming out around there. But Van Oomen now up into 4th position. Roland Ash 3rd. Fritz K is 2nd, and Klaus Ludwig still leads. There is car number 16, Jorg van Oomen. Sarel van der Merwe, he's still sitting in the car. They're changing the front right tyre. Obviously that's what went as they came around the corner. They're having problems getting it off.
Intussen het Suid-Afrika se Pieter Lans opgeskuif na die 7de posisie uit by Dion Jaber verbygekom, albei van hulle in BMW M3's. En dus het ons nou die enigste 2 Suid-Afrikaners wat op die oomblik in die eerste 10 is, en dit is Lans in die 7de posisie en Jaber in die 8de posisie.
So here they come down the mine shaft, and really, really flying, trying to go as fast as they possibly can down that mine shaft. Alfred Hager in the BMW M3, but Dieter Quester, who had a terrible time, had to come into the pits, and with him is Graham Cooper.
What actually happened during the race that you came into the pits with that tyre being so flat?
Yeah, I was not too bad in the race. In the first lap there was a big shunt, but I had no problems. And then the Mercedes driver Wendlinger was catching up, but for me it was no problem to hold him back. And then in a corner where you normally not can overtake, he overtook me, but there was only room for one car. So he was driving against my car. I mean, it was 100% his fault. And I mean, it's very often that the Mercedes driver did things like that.
Are you talking about Roland Ash catching up from the back with a Camel Mercedes, or who was it?
It is too loud, I can't understand you.
Who is the driver that was got together with you there?
It's Wendlinger, and as an Austrian. But I mean, there was no reason for to pass me there. And I'm really very fed up.
All right, I'm sure we're going to see you out there on the second heat. Enjoy South Africa.
Thank you.
Well, I don't know if he's enjoying South Africa quite at the moment, Graham, but you can hear it's rough out there. These drivers are pushing these cars to the absolute limit in an effort to get past. It's BMW versus Mercedes. We've got the Opel Amigas. They haven't got the assistance of all these aerodynamic wings on their motor cars. In fact, on these very fast circuits, they are very quick indeed in top line speed, having a top speed of something like 294 kilometers an hour. Sarel van der Merwe was back in the race. They changed the right front tyre, but that going off the circuit didn't do him any good. So South Africans at the moment, we've got him in 8th and 9th position. There with Dion Jaber there. There's Peter Lance in there as well. The lead is Klaus Ludwig. Half this race is gone. Here's problems there. That's that green BMW of George Severich, by the look of it. Yes, it's Severich. He's the German from Tauber Motorsport. And as a Winfield BMW arrives there of either Viana and Dion Jaber, they have to take quick evasive action. But the order is still, there's a nice picture of a BMW slipping and sliding its way through the top sport F's. That's Heger again, Alfred Heger, lying at the moment in fifth spot. He's the first of the BMWs. It's a BMW route at the moment. In the lead is Klaus Ludwig. In the AMG BM, it's a 2.5 litre 16 valve, pushes out massive amount of horsepower to these motor cars on some very, very trick tyres indeed. It's called a 190E Evolution 2, and with the help of Cosworth has gone into the developing. And so that's how close it is. The second man is Kritzpointner. Two Germans, 1 and 2 at the moment in the Mercedes team. Roland Ash is third in the Camel Mercedes, losing a bit of ground around there. He's lying about 4 seconds behind at the moment. Then it's Jorg van Orman, and yet another Mercedes. You'll pick him up a little later in number 16. Ludwig comes through. We've passed the halfway mark now into the final 12 laps. That's 48 kilometers of this race. But as Gustav says, Gustav Bussing, who's been following German touring cars all over Europe, says on all over Germany and following this championship, tyres are the big problem here. It's hot at Kyalami, and this race is not over yet. Things can start to happen from now on.
Yeah, and it's nice to see here Klaus Ludwig and Fritz Kritzpointner running together. Teacher and pupil, if you like, because Klaus Ludwig is the mentor of the Mercedes-Benz junior drivers, and Fritz Kritzpointner just is one of them. And I think Klaus Ludwig teaches him a lot because his pupil can follow him easily here through the race. So I think it's looking good now for AMG Mercedes in this race, being on 1 and 2 with their two cars.
And it's looking exceptionally good for them. As you say, they're getting a bit of practice and a bit of teaching in as well. And there's a man, remember his name, he's got big things ahead of him in motor racing, not only in Germany, but I'm sure in racing around the world. And it looks like Jochen Maas has just visited the pits in the other Camel Mercedes. We saw him come in below us. It's Klaus Ludwig in the front, the black car. Kritzpointner is just behind him there. A youngster, 23 years old, and handling that car like an expert. There's Jochen Maas's car there now. He's not having a happy time in practice yesterday. You can see those massive wheels. They've got 18-inch wheels. Very low profile tyres, very trick tyres, and here's some other dicing going on. There's the man that went off just now. There's the Toyota Supra as Ludwig starts to come up on them, followed by the Kirscher Mercedes of Kritzpointner. And we've now completed 14 laps. We're into the final 11 laps of this race.
Sarah van der Merwe het afgeskuif na die 21ste posisie nadat hy die Kuipe besoek het, nadat hy daar in die draai hieronder by Total Drive van die baan afgejaag het. En die wedren is besig om nou baie interessante stadium te bereik met die voorlopers wat die stadiger motors begin inhaal. En dit kan besliste verskil maak aan hierdie eerste twee posisies, die van Klaus Ludwig en Fritz Kritzpointner. En Roland Asch wat soos tier net sit en wag om toe te slaan as enige van daardie twee voorste manne 'n fout maak. Na 14 rondes is dit die posisie, Ludwig met Kritzpointner kort op sy hake, Roland Asch in die derde plek, van Ommen, Hegger en Wendiger is die eerste 6. Sewende is dit Frans Engsler in 'n BMW M3, 8ste Suid-Afrika se Dion Jaber, die beste vertoning tot dusver van die Suid-Afrikaners hier in die veld. En 'n groot teleurstelling natuurlik dat Van der Merwe heeltemal uitgeval het wat die uitslae betref in hierdie eerste wedren van 2 oor 100 km 25 rondes. Ons het reeds 14 afgelê en nou sal ons moet sien wat gaan Ludwig en Kritzpointner en Asch maak wanneer hulle by die stadium. Dit is die voorloper motor nommer 1, heeltemal toepaslik ook met 10 rondes wat oorbly, Klaus Ludwig. Daar die pragtig voorbereide Mercedes-Benz 190E, 2,5 liter 16 klep engine, skop meer as 300 perkrag uit. Aan die kant van die wat sy draai, die SO motor vir hom die geleentheid gee om voorbij te kom, om dan by hom voorbij te kom in daardie ronde. Die voorlopers dit is Gert Vroeg, hy jaag die SO Ford Mustang, die enigste van daardie motors in hierdie veld vandag. Hy is ook een van die agterste motors in die wedren op die oomblik. Ons hou nog steeds van Dion Jaber, Tony Viana, die nie aflangstel is, heel wat verder terug. Hy het heel wat probleme gehad met sy motor vroeër vanoggend met die opwarmingsrondes. Wow, en die is baie van hierdie motors wie sy bande nou begin afgaan. Het is baie duidelik dat die bande al 'n belangrike rol begin speel, en as die renjaars die regte taktiek gebruik het, dan sou hulle aan die begin van die wedren met stadig gery het, hulle bande gespaar het en gesorg het dat die bande nog hulle vasklou vermoë behou tot aan die einde van hierdie wedren. Tony Viana, soos ek gesê het, heel wat verder terug. Hy is in die 19e of 20ste posisie. Sarah van der Merwe het ook ver teruggesak met sy besoek daar in die Kuipe. En ongelukkig geen hoop weer vir hom in hierdie wedren nie. En hy sal baie hard moet werk in die tweede uitdaging later vanmiddag wanneer hulle weer oor dieselfde afstand vir 25 rondes steeds is het Klaus Ludwig, Frans Kritzpointner en Roland Asch die eerste 3 manne van Duitsland. Dus al 3 Mercedes motors wat saak hier uitspook om die eerste posisie.
And definitely not getting away, Klaus Ludwig, Fritz K right behind him, still trying everything he can. And it's going to be interesting when they catch some more slow markers. to see exactly what happens. Right, let's find out exactly what happened from Jochen Mass.
All right, Jochen, it was a pretty hot day out there today. In the first lap of the race, things didn't go all that well. What happened in that first lap?
Well, as usually when you're in the midfield, it's not just enough that you pay attention, the guys behind you too. So somebody hit me in the back because somebody spun in front somewhere in the midfield, I don't know. Anyway,
One of the Hana BMWs, I think, spun.
Yeah, whatever. And anyway, and then somebody hit me and my car started to smoke quite badly. So I quickly came to the pits, but it was nothing, so I continued. And now my clutch came up, and that was it.
So there's a lot of hard work for your team at the back there, and we'll see you out there in the second heat.
Yeah, of course, it's no problem to fix it. I'm sure we manage, and the second heat should be much better.
Well, let's hope it goes better for you.
Thanks.
Dankeschön.
Jochen Mass speaking to Graham Cooper after Mass had to come out, and you heard there getting smashed in the back. It's definitely all action out there. Cars trying everything they can, drivers trying everything they can, giving no inch whatsoever. And if you're in your way, we'll just get you out of the way. So round they go once again to complete yet another lap. That's the leader, Klaus Ludwig, in that black AMG Mercedes, followed by Fritz Kritzpointner, and he's not getting closer, but neither is Ludwig getting away from him. It's really, really tough stuff out there, and they really are trying very, very hard. 8 laps remain, and now it's going to be interesting because the tyres are really, really beginning to wear, and the drivers are going to have their wits about them, especially when they come round into Yellow Pages corner and up into the Top Sport S's. Anything can happen there. You can see the tyre rubber left on the circuit. Round they come, the back end of the Mercedes twitches out up into Top Sport. That's Fritz Kritzpointner. You can see him as he dabs the brake just to get the front of the car down, and around he comes once again in that car number 77. A huge crowd here at Kyalami, really enjoying this because it's certainly thrills and spills. There is car number 13, one of the Winfield BMWs, the South African. That is Dion Jaber. Dion Jaber going right off the circuit at Continental, down that mine shaft. You can see him going farming. Look at that, going farming out. Will he get that car back under control and bring it back in? That's going to be interesting, but he certainly has lost a lot of places, has Dion Jaber. Here comes the dice into Yellow Pages. We'll pick them up for you as they come round Yellow Pages. That's Dion Jaber back in the hunt once again. He's just getting stuck in there. Harold Gross there as well. There comes one of the Opels behind them. And there's another Opel in the pits changing tyres. Getting that in there. Very, very quick back right-hand tyre. As you can see, the mechanics really working hard. Once they go into the pits, get that tyre on, get the car down again, and off they go. Up into West Bank they come. Dion Jaber on the inside. Let's see what happens. Jaber on the inside. Kurt Kunich behind him. Kurt Kunich and another BMW behind him. The BMW certainly fighting further down the field. They really, really are going. That's Kurt Kunich behind him. Another one coming up behind that. So they go down into that area out of IGI, come up towards Continental, and that's where Jaber lost it last time. See if he can get it round there. Gets around this time quite safely. Round up into Brilliant Science, heading out towards Total Curve. Look at that as they whiz past. They really, really are trying absolutely everything they can down towards Total Curve. And Jaber, well, is going to have to pull something out the bag now, because going off there he's lost a number of places. Round once again, coming up to complete another lap here at the Kyalami International Grand Prix circuit. Almost going wide again. And Harold Gross there, but Jaber right behind him, and those tyres, Roger, are beginning to wear.
Well, I think that's the forecast from Gustav Bussing, that those tyres are going to become a problem from about lap 20. It's happening earlier than we thought. There's a beautiful shot here of the Opel Amiga. It's a very quick car in a straight line. It hasn't got all these aerodynamics. Adam Gross has been taken by Jaber, who's turning this into a standing Group N race. He's trying as hard as he can. Great performance there. Those big round circles at the back of the BMs are for long distance refueling. They have the refueling caps at the back of the motor car. That's what those big large, that blue disc you can see, and the silver one in the back of Dion Jaber's car. So the Winfield BMW has got past Gross. He pushed his way through there. Nice piece of drive. Always leaving it very late as he goes into West Bank. Very low profile tyres, a mixture of Pirellis on these cars, and they've got Dunlops. Pirelli's normally very quick in qualifying, but a lot of high tech has gone into these cars. They Kevlar tyres. That means they've got these modern day fibers in them. Oh, here we are going straight onto the depot there. That's Philip Muller, not having a happy race. He's been in for tyres already. I don't think he's going to have enough tyres to last as he goes into the kitty sand there, and that's going to stop him very quickly. Across the Top Sport, as he hasn't locked the wheels yet. I think he's just taking a wee bit of a shortcut. But the bottom of that motor car can be damaged as he comes across curves, and he's just keeping going. Well, I've never seen that before. as he goes through the top sport S's, that's the badly named corner. It's actually a little straight there that he's made for himself as he comes back out. That's what a piece of driving. Back on the road, not doing his car any good. It bounces on the high-tech shocks. And Philip Miller continues with a race that is giving him lots of thrills and certainly spectators lots of excitement. It's Dion Jaber, then it's Harold Gross, and then the next one is number 28, which is Kurt Kunich in another BMW. It's auto test and tuning BMW, and then we've got the Opel Amiga. As I say, it hasn't got those aerodynamic wings to hold the car down on the road, so in a tight circuit like Kyalami, you find that it will start to slip and slide, and the tyres will get very hot indeed. The order up front there. Oh, and we've got problems here. It's not one of the leading cars, is it? Let's have a look what number it is. As he carries that Kritzpointner, might be. Get the number, it's 77, and that's bad news. Maybe he was too close to, oh, this very bad news. I mean, Harney's now gone way back the field as well, so the drama is starting to happen in this yellow pages 200. As from the back of the field, he's starting to come up through the field as he had that trouble in the very beginning. As you remember, he spun on the top sport S's. 28 is in there, and he's following Harold Gross behind Dion Jaber, and then we've got the Opel just a little further behind. And they've been slipping and sliding. We're on lap 20 now with 5 laps, about 20 kilometers of this race to go. Dion Jaber goes through the Winfield BMW. Harold Gross, Kurt Kunich is next in the BMW. That's the official BMW colors they got here. And then we've got the Opel Amiga coming through just about the 3-liter 6-cylinder. And he's certainly getting it sideways. How are they going to have tyres to last the second race when these tyres are slipping and sliding as they are now? And these saloon cars are heavy on these tyres, and they are really starting to move all over the road.
So once again, the car's out. There is Fritz Kritzpointner, and a very disappointing race for him after chasing hard up against Klaus Ludwig, his teacher. Well, there he is in the pits, his car in the pits. He's obviously gone for something to drink. There he climbs out of his car, and very disappointing for him. Dion Jaber once again really trying his very best to make up those places. He's now back into 8th position, so he didn't lose much to Dion Jaber. Really is racing very well. The top running South African at the moment in the field. But Klaus Ludwig still leads. Roland Ash is now in 2nd place. Jorg van Oomen is 3rd. Alfred Hager is in 4th position. And you can see some of the smoke still coming out the back of that motor car. Open the boot just to go and see what is going on there. And that is some very expensive damage that has been done to that motor car when you see smoke like that pouring out the back. So back on the circuit we are, and that battle's still going on. That battle royal still going on. That battle for 10th, 9th and 8th position. It really is. Kurt Kunich trying absolutely everything he can in 10th position to try and get back up into the field. And there you can see the desolate sights of a Mercedes AMG being wheeled back into the pits. Here comes Dion Jaber. He's now in 8th position. Behind him is car number 22, and that of course is the car of Harold Gross, and behind him is Kurt Kunich. Here they come, 4 laps remaining. Is it going to stay the same? Ludwig leads from Ash, Van Oomen 3rd, Wendlinger 4th, Hager 5th, Engstler 6th, Harney 7th, and Dion Jaber is in 8th position.
Ja, dis die stryd. Daar is Philip Miller, ongelukkig sy motor wat ook in die Kouko intrek. Nummer 25, een van die Toyota Supras, een van die 2 wat hier in aksie is vandag. En die afstand en die hitte en die baie skerp draaie hier op Kyalami is beslis besig om hulle tol te eis. Nummer 28 is die motor van Kurt Kunich. Hy is op die oomblik in die 10de posisie. En so wat ek gesê, die stryd is om die 8ste plek. Dion Jaber, jongman daar van Kaapstad. Oh, en jy kan sien dat die bande nou regtig besig is om hulle vasspeel te verloor. Harold Gross wat daar baie dwars gegaan het toe hy hard op die remme klim vir Wesbank daai. Na 21 rondes met 4 wat oorbly, is nog steeds Ludwig en Ash in die eerste 2 posisies. Daar is 'n groot gaping tussen hulle. Van Oomen in die 3de plek met Heger, Wendlinger en Engstler in die 5de, 4de, 5de en 6de posisie. Nummer 22 is die motor van Harold Gross wat op die oomblik in die 9de posisie is. Kort op sake is dit Kurt Kunich in nummer 28 en hierdie 3 BMW M3's wat sake uitspook om die 8ste posisie. Dion Jaber, jongman daar van Kaapstad. Ons ken hom in sedan motorwedrenne, ons ken hom in standing groep N motorwedrenne en ook in enkelsitplek motorwedrenne vir die GT's en baie talentvolle jong renjaer en beslis waardig dat hy hier die hoogst geplaaste Suid-Afrikaner in hierdie wedren is in die 8ste plek op die oomblik. Sarel van der Merwe wat nou steeds maar nog net sirkuleer. Hy het aansienlike probleme natuurlik met daardie bande van hom, net soos al die ander motors ook het. En daar is waarskynlik geen kans dat die motor van der Merwe die voorloper sal kan gedaan. Hy is te ver afgedaan. Hele paar van die motors wat tot dusver daar uitgeval het. En die oomblik net van interessantheid is dit Sarel van der Merwe wat besig is om vir Tony Viana aan te haal om by te kom, maar soos ek net gesê het, dit is hier ver onder die agterste motors, waarskynlik hier in die 17de, 18de posisie, min of meer. Dit is Klaus Ludwig, die voorloper op die oomblik. Hy gaan daar deur budget draai en met daardie groot, dit is van der Merwe wat so pas net vinnig daar deur geel bladsy by Tony Viana verbygekom het waarvan ek pas gepraat het. So hier kom Klaus Ludwig en hy gaan vir die tweede keer by die agterste motors verbykom. Die eerste keer by hulle verbykom. En wow, nommer 66 het ook 'n probleem en dit is Karel Wendlinger. Dis Wendlinger. Hy was in die 4de posisie. En net hier voor ons by die Kuiper trek hy af. So nog 'n verandering in die volgorde. Wendlinger se motor wat ook sê genoeg gehad vir eers. En Klaus Ludwig nog steeds soos 'n trein op 'n spoor deur Wesbank draai op pad om oorwinning te behaal as alles reg gaan vir hom. So Wendlinger vanuit dit beteken al die ander skuif op. Hegger is op na die 4de plek, Engsler is op na die 5de plek, Armin Hane is op na die 6de plek, Dion Jaber op na die 7de posisie en dan in die 8ste plek behoort dit te wees Kunich. Kunich of Armin Hane. Armin Hane is in die 6de posisie, Kunich op die oomblik dan in die 8ste posisie. Nadat Karel Wendlinger se motor ook gesê het hy het genoeg gehad en daarmee is dit neusie verby vir hom met nog so 2 rondes, 1 ronde wat oorbly as Ludwig nou deur Total draai gaan en by die deur die Nashua draai vir die laaste ronde. Een ronde oor vir Klaus Ludwig. Dis die laaste ronde van hierdie eerste wedren oor 25 rondes vir Klaus Ludwig en as alles vir hom reg is, dan sal hy hier 'n baie gemaklike oorwinning behaal met sy teenstanders wat almal tegniese probleme, meganiese probleme met hulle motors en hulle bande opgedoen het en sodoende uit die wedren uitgeval het.
Interesting just to notice how the Mercedes-Benzes have actually fallen out the race, and the BMW M3s have been very, very stable. They might have gone off in a bit of farming, but their engines and so on have been very, very stable. A couple of Mercedes-Benzes have fallen out, the AMG 190s. So, Klaus Ludwig, Roland Asch and Jörg van Oomen. There is Klaus Ludwig heading up to Westbank for the very last time in this first heat. They've done 98 odd kilometers round the back of the circuit, down the mine shaft he'll go, and Klaus Ludwig heading towards victory in the first heat of this Yellow Pages 200 here at Kyalami. Down out of IGI Insurance, coming on once again is Klaus Ludwig. Round he comes. He really is just holding it together now, keeping himself intact. He knows he has a big lead over Roland Asch in second position in that Camel 190E. There he goes, Klaus Ludwig coming down and round, coming up towards Continental, then he'll go round Total Curve, up towards Nashua, into Total Curve he goes now, up towards Nashua and up towards the checkered flag. He hasn't got very far to go, 300 odd meters to go, comes out of the corner for the very last time, round, just takes it a bit wide there, but here he comes to take the checkered flag, Klaus Ludwig, to win the first heat of the Yellow Pages 200 as he goes over the line now. There's the checkered flag and victory for Klaus Ludwig in that AMG Mercedes 190E. You can see in the cockpit of the car he raises his hand and he really is happy that he's put the first heat under the bag as many of his main competitors, including Fritz K. Here comes the second man, lights blazing for the camel car of Roland Asch as he comes over second. It's very hot out there. You can see opening up the door to get some cool air in there. Let's see who comes out in third place. It should be Jörg van Oomen in the other Mercedes-Benz. Here comes Jörg van Oomen in the other Mercedes-Benz. That's the car that Chris Aberdeen's going to be racing in the next heat. So that's very interesting with that car up into third position. So a great start for Chris Aberdeen when he takes over in the second heat later on this afternoon. There goes Klaus Ludwig, the winner. Helmet off already, getting some cool air into that car because it's very hot.
Well, there it is, the route for the BMWs, although they had a few casualties on the way. It was Ludwig, Asch and Van Oomen in the 3 Mercedes-Benz 190Es. There it is, Klaus Ludwig, helmet up, waving to the crowd. A very confident performance from a very experienced and confident driver. Certainly one of the fastest to have arrived in this country. The BMWs were 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th, with Dion Jaber very good for the South Africans, finishing in 7th position. There's Ludwig getting out to let everybody see this is part of the show. of the German touring cars. Roland Ash is on his tail as they come through now. So it's BMW, the Mercedes 1, 2 and 3, Ludwig, Ash and Van Ommen. Ludwig in the black Mercedes 190, Ash in the camel Mercedes, Van Ommen is the Chris Aberdeen car, that's the Minolta Mercedes. Then Heger, Harney and Engstler were next in the BMW's M3. And very quick cars they are. Just behind them, Dion Jaber, the South African, the first South African through. We made Sarel van der Merwe, was through in about 10th or 11th position after that puncture. He made his way back. So you can see Amin Harney came from the back of the field. He was in that shunt they had on Top Sport S's at the beginning of the race. And he's now made his way up to 5th position. Here they come now. There he is, Klaus Ludwig. And down in the pits once again is Graham Cooper.
Thank you, Roger. Fritz K, I'm not going to try and pronounce that surname, driving the Kirche Mercedes. And you were lying in 2nd position and all of a sudden everything just went wrong for you. Fritz, what happened there?
It was a very good race for me. I had a pretty good start from the 2nd row. I was after the start from the 4th position in 2nd position. Then I was behind my teammate Klaus Ludwig, and Roland Asch in the 3rd position pushed very hard in the beginning of the race, but then he made a mistake at the beginning of the main straight. Then we could pull away from the others, Klaus and me, and it was an easy race for us. We controlled everybody, every temperatures were under control, and suddenly there were a blow up. At first I thought it was a puncture, it was like a puncture, the noise, but then I recognized that it was something with the engine, I think something with the water system.
So the chances of seeing your Kirche Mercedes out on the next heat, is there any chance?
It's a very little chance, because I don't know whether the engine is good or not. If we have to change the engine, we have no chance to the 2nd heat.
Well, there was a lot of smoke coming out there, but really a fantastic drive. And if you are out there for the 2nd heat, give them hell.
I hope the best also, thank you.
Dankie Graham Cooper en Fritz Kritzpointner. En dit was dan die eerste van die 2 geel bladsye 200 internasionale Duitse sedanmotorwedrenne wat ons vandag hier op Kyalami gaan sien. Onthou, die tweede ene is om 3:15. Ons gaan dit ook regstreeks wys en ons gaan ook net nou terug wees vir die laaste ronde van die Firestone meesterbestuurdersreeks wat ook hier vandag op Kyalami plaasvind. So vereers terug na die ateljee.